Hi everybody, Ethan from Eclipse Saber Design here. I just wanted to show off, I guess, my latest build. This is sort of a video, a glamour video, I guess, for the client. The client came to me, in September, and wanted a hilt customized that he just bought. It was an anodized black ASP build that he bought for a couple $100. It had the stock SaberForge electronics in there, and he wanted those upgraded to something that would just really impress people. So the key word that I got from his description was impressive, but personal. He wanted it to be something that spoke to him. So the first thing I did was take it apart and strip off the anodizing. The second thing I did was to re-anodize some of it gray so that it would accent the weathering. You can see here there's some this is what the bare aluminum looks like. This is where I've sort of weathered it, and this is actually an anodized gray on there. So he only had a few requests. He wanted the Jedi Phoenix to be displayed. He wanted the Old Republic Phoenix to be displayed, and he wanted a Hannibal Lecter mask. The other things he said that were important to him were his kids, and sorry that's not really focusing, but his kids. So he had their names put on there, separated by inset stones, according to his request, and some dates. Well, then he really wanted to spice it up with some customized music, so I started asking about his favorite song, etc. And turns out he's a Zeppelin fan, Pink Floyd, U2, a lot of really good bands, but he likes to rock hard. But he said his favorite song was Imagine by John Lennon. So in addition, here underneath the crystal chamber window, I've etched the word in Arabesh, Imagine, and on the back, I'm not the only one. The only other real like bits of personality to it are this cleaver, because by profession he was a butcher for many years, and that's what it says right here is Jedi Butcher. Now you can obviously take that to mean somebody who slaughters Jedi, or somebody who happens to cut meat for people who are Force users. Whatever, it can be interpreted both ways. Now this guy was not somebody who's experienced in the Saber world. Like, this is his first Saber, as far as I know. So I wanted to make it very, very simple. We're going to use a Crystal Focus 10 board, a CFX, but I had to send that board in for warranty. And rather than wait on getting another one, I had some Proffieboards in stock, so I gave him a Proffi v2 install. I went ahead and made it accessible, although he should never need to do anything except maybe get in here to replace the battery if he wants. The other thing, of course, he's got is the Bluetooth. So I've got a little Bluetooth switch right there that flips on his Bluetooth sensor, so he can change colors without ever having to reprogram, excuse me, not colors. He can change volume settings and things like that with his iPhone, thanks to the stock, Dimitri Stock's Force Sync app, which is pretty cool. But his favorite blade color, he said, he didn't hesitate, purple, right? Because I wanted to do something special for the guy, and I'll show you this in a little bit. But something I made for this guy, this particular guy, was an LED adapter. He said he wanted the NeoPixel blade for all the effects, but he really wanted to be able to do stage combat with it, and like rehearsed plays and maybe even some sparring and dueling and stuff with it. And he didn't want to risk breaking anything in the NeoPixel blade, which makes sense because they're expensive. So as far as I know, this is the only one in existence, but this is an LED adapter that actually will turn this NeoPixel hilt into an in-hilt LED for combat and for use with a standard blade, which I'll show you later on in the video. Since this particular client wasn't a sophisticated Saber user, I tried to make things as simple as possible. I'm going to turn this on muted because I want you to be able to hear me without shouting. But there, when he turns it on, there, of course, is his purple blade. Crystal chamber is always going to mirror the blade. And when it's off, it goes through a series of pulsing and flickering effects that I've custom programmed. It took a little while, but I'll tell you what, this is the first time I've used the color changing code that the guys made on their color changing fork for the Proffi. It's pretty cool. It takes a lot of work to like customize it, but sorry man, I'm going to mess up your names here, but they made it pretty easy with their downloadable templates. So at least I had something to like start with and to work with. So the first one I gave the guy is based on the Call to Darkness, which allows you to transition from Sith to Jedi, Jedi to Sith, you know, dark, light, whatever, back and forth. So when you turn it on, with the push of a button, you can start that transitioning to a dark side blade if you want. So I went ahead and stayed with the unstable red, because if you're going to use this feature, the unstable blade I think looks the best with the NeoPixel. It really sort of shows off the effects that you can see on camera, how it's flickering and unstable. And then you can transition back, right? So I was trying to give the guy the best of both worlds. Like I wanted him to have like every option available, but I didn't want to overwhelm him with options. And I didn't want to write, you know, 200 pages of code with color changing and everything. So I only put the first 3 fonts with color changing options. The first one's very simple, so that he can either light it up and go, or light it up and you can see the crystal chamber indicates that it's changing, and go dark and slaughter some younglings or whatever you do on the weekends. With the next font, again, it was Kylo Ren's sort of unstable blade style, which is very cool. And again, muted. The only thing I gave him here was just full color spectrum changing. Now he asked me not to give him a yellow blade or orange blade. Don't ask me why. He likes purple. Did not want those colors in there, so I had to go through and tweak it just a little bit. It's a fairly simple operation, but you can cycle through and have whatever unstable blade. It's always going to be unstable. It's locked on that effect, right? Because again, I'm trying to keep things fairly simple for this particular client, who maybe is not the most sophisticated user yet, even though he's about to get like a very cool saber. Finally, the third color changing font is just Obi-Wan Kenobi's from Kyberphonic.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must.
And this is sort of the full buffet of options, if you will, with color changing and the effect scroll combination. Took a little tweaking again because I had to, I wasn't satisfied with some of the colors like purple, and I had to remove any references to like magenta and orange and yellow, and that took a little while to filter through all the code. But we got it done, and so now, and again I'm going to mute this, with the twisting motion, of course, not only do you get, I'm going to change to a darker blue so you can see some of these. There we go. I'm getting used to this. Give me a sec. There we go. It's going to start to flicker fast, pulse. I took out some of these effects just because some of them looked a little repetitive to my eye. Here's the fire blade, here's the rain blade, and he can just pick whatever effect he wants. And of course he can even, you know, continue to change color while the effects are scrolling through, which is a really cool feature because he can then fine tune it to get just the blade he wants. I'm going to put it on a red rain blade and lock that in place, so that when he turns on the saber, he pulls the kill key, he has his favorites, 2 favorites, the red unstable and the stable purple blade. He can skip right through to show off the unstable blade in any color, and if he really wants to personalize it, then he can pick one of his options from this menu. I'm going to stop here for just a second, grab some coffee, and then just walk you through the rest of the fonts on here so that he can see sort of what I've done. I'll be right back. Whew, okay, and we're back. That's much better. From here on out, I just went straight up with the characters. I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough. Mostly I'm going to show you some of the music selection because I think it makes for a very cool saber experience. And this fellow has great taste in music, I think. So I'm going to reboot it. Now, once I've gone through those 3 color changing fonts, I gave him his battery indicator. One, so he can get to it easily. He just scrolls, scrolls, scroll. He knows how much power he's got if he needs to change batteries or whatever. The other reason, it's a reminder, like, hey, now you've gone through like one set of color changing fonts. Now here are the standard character fonts from the movies and shows that, of course, we all love. So I put them in chronological order so they'd hopefully be easy to remember. The oldest and first Jedi that you meet in episode 1, of course, is Qui-Gon. So he comes first.
Feel, don't think. Use your instincts.
Now, for this blade, I tried to give it the shimmering greenish yellow effect that Liam Neeson's blade has in the movies, because it's a very cool effect to try and emulate. I think we got it. So anyway, next, of course, Darth Maul. Could have put Obi-Wan in there, but I already had Obi-Wan's Saber font from A New Hope on another. So Darth Maul only has one music, like, right? There's only one piece of music that you can play for Darth Maul. So that's what we did. Now, this particular Smoothswing font for Darth Maul is something I put together by mixing some Smoothswing fonts into an already made standard Darth Maul package. But all of these are Smoothswing fonts. Some of them I had to doctor up myself to either match existing Smoothswing pairs from other fonts on the Saber, or took those pairs and then tweaked them myself in Audacity, which is a great free program if you need to do audio editing. Hope my check is in the mail, Audacity. There you go. There's your plug.
This party fool.
Next oldest Jedi that we sort of meet. Besides Yoda, I didn't include Yoda because we already had some green blades and it seemed a little repetitive. No offense, Yoda. Don't choke me or whatever with the Force. But here we got Mace Windu. This is Vertigo by U2.
Kid, I'm about to let everyone in on the secret.
Kanan Jarrus. His music is Smokin' by Boston. Like Darth Maul, Vader only has one piece of music. Nothing else would be appropriate, right? This is the Rogue One font from K-Sith.
In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
I get it, that's Obi-Wan, but that's a quote from A New Hope, and this is Luke's Saber. The music for Luke is Welcome to Machine by Pink Floyd. There's a long, quiet intro, so I'm not going to play it, but I did customize the power on, power off sounds and ripped them right from some scenes in the movies, which is pretty cool to do. I tried to mirror the effects with sort of like the fast retraction from A New Hope and the like instantaneous ignition, because, you know, they basically like handed Mark Hamill a saber and then they handed one with the rod in and then started the cameras again, so it looks automatic, right? Empire Strikes Back. With some doors.
Your overconfidence is your weakness.
Return of the Jedi, Luke, and, you know, if you ever want to look at the blade color before you select it, turn it on, you can just see the crystal pulsing. That's going to be your blade color. His music, In God's Country, again by U2. Sorry, I had to mute that. This is Ray's Greyflex from episode 8. And her music is Run Like Hell by Pink Floyd, because it's in the trailer, so no spoilers, but you know that scene where she's like running through the forest in Rise of Skywalker? Pretty cool, so here we go. This is a version of Lord Blako's Aclophobia font. It's my favorite. I made a Smoothswing version of it with some special sound effects in there and put it in an unstable purple blade. So this is like something I made for myself, but I wanted to give it to this guy as well. And the music there, I'm about to run out of time on this recording, but The Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin.
May it be a light for you in dark places.
And then we have
The lights go out.
Effects Blade. This is the light of Elendil from Lord of the Rings.
You must do what you feel is right, Mr. Poe.
Okay, where was I? I think I was on Fireblade. There you go. This is a custom font I made. It's just supposed to sound like a torch, look like a torch. And the music to go with it is, of course, more Zeppelin. I suppose that Light My Fire by the Doors might have been a good song for this one, but I listed that song, I listed that song for Obi-Wan Kenobi because he did sort of light up Anakin at the end of Revenge of the Sith. So there's that. And then I think the last one we've got is just the Rainbow Blade. This is just a gradient that I put together with a custom lockup that I think looks pretty cool. We'll see. The music for this one, now you'll see here the crystal chamber is pulsing white, but as I activate the blade, I'm going to mute it. The crystal chamber is going to start pulsing through the colors of the rainbow as the rainbow blade is being displayed. Watch it's turn red, and it's going to go orange, yellow, etc. And I've got from purple all the way up to red here at the end. With the blade. For the lockup, that's right. I want to demonstrate that. I've also got another gradient with a rainbow fire blade that you can sort of see. And a strobing, flickering effect here where the blade is most likely to make contact during battle or, you know, choreographed shows and such. That's it. But it's a very cool project. It was a lot of fun to do. It was a big challenge because this hilt, when I got it, was just really ripped up on the surface. I had to resurface actually most of the surfaces that you see etched. Wouldn't even take the etching template. Like I had to go through and like completely refinish it. I don't mean like with some steel wool and some acetone or something. Like I just had to clean off a layer. Like there were deep gouges and scratches in there. So it took a little while. I had to install it twice because I got the crystal focus board in there, and then turns out that it looks like there was a cold solder joint on one of the components there. So I had to send that back in for a warranty repair, and I just was like, hey man, I don't want to make you wait, so I gave him a Proffi V2 instead. And I think it's been a lot of fun. So anyway, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Wait, hold that thought. That is not all, because I promised to show you guys how this in-hilt blade LED adapter would work. It's a royal blue red with resistors and everything else I need built into this little package. I'm going to take any standard 1-inch blade and use that to put some downward pressure and make sure the pins mate with the adapter, and then just screw in that blade like I would any other blade, right? You can see that the crystal chamber is still set to, I'm gonna mute it, still set to rainbow blade. So there's my NeoPixel crystal chamber. But what I have here is a standard purple blade for combat and other use. That does two things. One, it keeps them from breaking, keeps a person from breaking anything in the NeoPixel blade during really hard contact. The other thing, of course, it conserves battery power, because now instead of drawing 10 to 15 amps per hour, I'm only drawing 3. So there's that. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have fun.